How was your Christmas? My Christmas was freaking awesome. Like really, really good. I got to see my nieces and nephews tear up shit. That was awesome. Got to spend time with my sister, my brother, my dad, bunch of friends that basically I have not seen since I had relocated to Colorado about wow, like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Wow, time flies. Um, but yeah, it was great to do all the things that we do during Christmas, even if it meant that it threw off like my training a little bit, threw off my eating. I think I went through like 2 or 3 gallons of whole milk while I was there just to find a way to basically keep it on me, right? Um, to make sure there wasn't at least too big of a dent in regards to the weight that I have put on since my prep ended. But yeah, before you knew it, it was Peace Hayward. Let's come back home, and I had a plus set on the trap bar deadlift to kick the week off. This is a movement that I'm going to commit to. I'm pretty sure at this point. And at some point during this training block, it was just new enough that I had to up the training max that I was basing um, my work off of. And I'm glad I did, because more or less that's where I ended up. Whatever I ended up adjusting it to, this plus set here basically confirmed that I was about that strong. So we're pretty much almost done testing. Just a few more movements. This week it was the trap bar, and then also the dumbbell incline press, which I was super psyched for. That is a movement that stays around most of the time. So here's me trying to get them angles for you guys. The GHRs felt much better. Someone had mentioned in the comment section during my last video that yeah, I did not have my hips in full extension, and that is still kind of sort of the case here. It can be a lot better, and that's going to be the goal the next few weeks. So as you can see, my hands are off to my side. What this does is keep the lever shorter as I progress, and this gets too easy. I'll have my hands out to, I guess, away from my body, kind of like front double bicep area, and this will increase the length of a lever a little bit more, and it's going to make it more difficult, and then eventually overhead. But we are still a ways away from that, or adding any resistance for sure. So most of the footage you guys are going to see today is from my upper body session. This movement right here, I'm kind of torn with. Like, I love it because it's something that I can do when I'm traveling. Almost anywhere I go, you're going to find a bench press. And I love the fact that you can micro load. However, I'm just not super good at that. Again, that's the perk of keeping it around, is the fact that when I do travel, this can be something that I can, I'm guaranteed to have access to. But then again, it's also a super new movement in that I think, I'd say maybe a month ago, I would have been able to hit this. This was 250 for maybe like one or two. And like basically what you see here is me hitting a 4x3, I think it was. I think it was a 4x3. Let's count the reps. All right. There you go. Yeah, 4x3. And, even though they were all like RPE 9, the fact that I was able to get them all in kind of goes to show you that I just haven't fully mastered that movement yet. And there's plenty of progress waiting for me, and I should just be a little bit more patient. So that's what I'm going to do, because again, I'm fantastic at the dumbbell press, but that's just not guaranteed, especially with some of the traveling that I do have later on in the year. It's so much easier to just get stuff done at home when you can rely on consistent equipment. But that's just not going to be the case this year. So we'll do our best, and that might be a good enough reason to keep the bench press around. And again, this baby right here, the horizontal row, the horizontal row of choice in my case, the inverted row. Just kind of showing you guys how to load a plate. I know we've done that before, but it is pretty practical. I feel it's not that difficult once you get the hang of it. It's not as clumsy as I'm making it look here. And however, I do think that at a certain point, this might be a movement that is probably better left off, is not one of my main movements. So if you checked out the spreadsheet, link is in the description, you're going to see that it is one of my main movements that I'm, basically pacing my efforts in an effort to be stronger at this particular movement, along with a few others. So I think at some point we just might make it something that is just fluff work on the secondary side. But again, the main focus during this training block was to basically get my strength up to a certain level, get my strength up to, I wouldn't say up as fast as possible, but up as fast as possible in a safe manner. Because I think I could have ran something a bit more linear, but I think that would have eventually, perhaps, I think it would have just, it would have been too risky, given the fact that, yeah, a lot of me just hasn't been loaded that heavy, that frequently in so long. So this was my plus set. It was supposed to be 100, but after the first few reps with this, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be here forever. Let's work with something that's gonna give me an estimated max that is just a wee bit more accurate. So we ended up going with the 110s, and I was super pleased with how this turned out, especially considering the fact that on some days I'm still weighing under 170 pounds. When I came back from my trip, actually, I was under 170 pounds. So the fact that I was able to get these up for this many reps and with some slight pauses, I feel I was pretty pumped about this one for sure. Like again, it just looks so different from my bench press. I'm it's probably because it's the first free weight movement I ever did. It was the only free weight movement you could halfway decently load at my first like real gym where they had dumbbells up to like 80 pounds. And as a 16-year-old, that was basically the goal, to get up to those. So I have a lot of experience with dumbbells, and I think that's why I am so good at them relative to other movements. In regards to everything else, I am kind of dealing with some achy elbows, mostly the right one. It was kind of an issue during the contest prep. It started to get better, and now it's starting to regress a little bit. And I don't know what it is. I think it might be the bench press. I think it might be just all the pull-up volume as well. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of continue rolling with what I have. And in regards to my direct tricep work, I'm going to stop trying to force feed certain movements that I want to do, simply because my triceps are a body part that needs a little bit of help, a lot of help. And sometimes I get caught up myself in the what is optimal, but I think at this point I'll just take whatever I can do when it comes to the triceps. But yeah, this whole month in general, I think considering the fact that my first serious month of training was December, I kind of knew that there was going to be some curveballs and that things weren't going to be laid out perfectly. So I'm okay with the fact that I've had to improvise quite a bit throughout this whole month, and January is going to be fairly similar in that regard as well. But I think one of the goals during this month was to definitely give a few things a trial run, see how I like them, and then based off that adjust like what I see working out in the long run, as opposed to maybe what I was doing over the course of my contest prep, because that was literally the only option at the time, right? Or maybe things that I wasn't doing during my contest prep that now that I am gaining, I want to start doing, but they are just not working out or practical for a number of reasons. But yeah, gaining we are. It's been feeling so awesome just to walk in there and not just have a pump, but have a pump that actually lasts over the whole course of the whole training session. And as a matter of fact, like, pumps are getting to the point that they are my off-season norm. And in the off-season, like, usually I have to take slightly longer rest periods because pumps do get to the point where they almost hurt and they almost get like in the way of you contracting a muscle the way you like. So yeah, pump products, I've never understood the purpose to them, or basically I've never noticed a difference with them, because just in general, you give me a little water, some carbs pre-training, or the meals prior to training, and I'm good to go. So, but again, like just having a pump again, and looking moderately big in clothes. We're still not a big person yet. We're still at about 170 pounds, but yeah, just looking like you partake in some sort of physical activity in clothes is definitely something that is that was really missed. But yeah, this movements like this, I don't like doing too much of my tricep work in the mid range, but again, I can't be picky. I just have to do whatever those bows can handle. But yeah, other than that, again, this is just kind of a block to kind of test a few things out. Don't be surprised if we revamp quite a few things. And most of the stuff that we will be revamping, again, it has to do with what is practical, what it is that I can do given my schedule and where I expect to be in the next few weeks. So yeah, it needs to be a flexible template, something that works around my situation and not the other way around. What I do like so far is training 4 days a week. It's been fantastic. I love having 3 roaming off days. I love being able to eat for a few days and then not train and then go train and feel supercharged and just ready to go. So that's staying. But in regards to exercise selection, and perhaps how we pace progression from this point forward, that's probably going to be a little bit different going forward. So expect to see those changes on the spreadsheet. But other than that, things are going well. I don't have too much to complain. We're still trying to figure things out, but that never really changes. So with that said, guys, I'll leave it here. And yeah, hopefully by the time next week rolls around, I will have all those adjustments and changes on the spreadsheet so that you guys can see what the next mesocycle will look like.